Alrighty then. Well, the thing has gone red. You all know what that means. All right, there's the clap. What does that mean? Sound apparently still works. We're not in some spontaneous vacuum, at least here on Earth, that we conceptually know of. Okay, that's probably all incorrect, but I guess what's going on? Memes here. And yes, I know I haven't erased the board from yesterday. I had to go over to Ma Memes's and eat some steak dips and watch Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire with some of the fam. Why? Because I like kaiju movies. All right, so we're gonna let folks roll on in from different places on the internet, whether it's from the YouTubes, where the skies are bluer, the Twitters, the X's, the X Twitters, whatever you want to call it, and everything now. Ah, yes, Chris. Good to see you, my friend. Occasionally, I don't know. I would love to incorporate some form of a random monster battle or something, but all I know is, hey, when I fell into World of Warcraft and everything, I went date in there. I feel like I taught myself some calculus for everything. Like, well, if I'm a mage, and then, well, if I'm an ice mage, I'm going to do 225% damage on a critical. And normally this, okay, so you get your plus damage, but if you're a fire mage, you get this percent more. But then if you get an ignite, it'll end up being about like 240%. And then if you actually catch the ignite, your other party member, there were a lot of factors going on. So that's why it's, again, I'm not going to claim to be a mathematician. I'm not going to claim to be a physicist. I'm going to claim to be a gamer. Probably my longest held personal identity tag, or at least we'll go with that. All right. So the moral of today's episode is I'm going to make the claim. I'm going to have to utilize one of Arthur C. Clarke's famous laws. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Okay. With that axiom in place for what we're going to be doing here on the new year, Happy New Year, everybody, as well. Um, okay, we're going to start the parse through because, all right, if you're a random person and you just come in here and you see this random chicken scratch on the board, you're like, WTF me, what is this? Why? Because not that long ago, that's all it meant to me. It's like, all right, I'm going to sit down here. It's like, all right. So what is this? We got a little fish symbol, and then we got some random math brackets there. There's an E there, and then there's a random QP. I don't know. Are we dealing drugs? Not right now. But all right. Oh, and then there's a two there. It's like, all right. So what you order 2 quarter pounders with E? I don't know. And then you start to learn little symbols and stuff, and you realize, oh, that little fish symbol there. It's Did I upload the actual things where the fishes are so delicious? Do I actually have that within my media asset? Don't, do I? God, that is something I need to. This is a terrible oversight. All right. Well, we're just gonna go with.
You finally flipped.
Okay. To be fair, it was a lot before that, but I digress. Oh well, that's the. Grizz, I don't know about you. Here's the thing. I went to a state school. And while in the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts, because we're not just a state, we're a Commonwealth. The differentiation, that's in the Constitution. But okay. I was taught it's like when you're going to do the scientific method, what do? All right. You need to try to account for an infinite number of variables and stuff. It's like, I can't count to infinity. I can count to at least four. Four is less than infinity, and apparently it's the 3+1 magical dimensions in which we live. Random side note is there's some mathematical memes that go around, and let's see. Let's do mathematicians 4 dimensions. Memes, math, mathematician 4 dimensions. Okay. Is there? Here we go. The Goofy Dimension 4, our mathematics. Yes. Yes, oh God, I need to prove I'm a human on Reddit. All right, let's go to the thing. Let's share our mathematical meme, shall we? Okay. So here's the thing. All right. So what is this? All right. So you get Mr. Incredible. He's looking pretty incredible because that's what he does here. It's like, all right, dimension m equals 2. 'Cause that's how we're going to represent the dimension in this thing. All right. He's there. He's incredible. Dimension 3. He's incredible. Dimension 4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He's grayscaled up. There must be something going on. Dimension 5. Totally incredible. Dimension 6. Totally incredible. Um, Now, again, I'm not a topologist or a geometer or a professional mathematician or anything, but at least according to Pat, who came to the monastery at one point, is 4 dimensions is the magical dimension that has an infinite, accountably infinite number of tessellations. What the heck does that mean? Well, they're going to treat it like some flat thing. Basically, within every dimension, I believe you can tessellate with a triangle or a square. Okay. I think 3 is maybe you have like the octahedron, maybe or the platonic solids. Um, 4 dimensions, countably infinite. Once you get above it, every dimension greater than 4, there are only 2 things that tessellate those dimensions: a, a triangle and a square in the relevant number of dimensions. I believe it's been proven for all the dimensions past 4, it's only triangle square. Huh. Dimension 4 is OP, I claim. Okay. So that's a side little mathematics. Hey, Jax. But here's the thing. If there's one thing that I know, it's I don't know. Well, I'm just a random dude spewing some stuff out on the internet and everything. Now, I'm not going to claim to be the biggest, strongest, smartest, fastest, any of those things. I may be the luckiest son of a gun on earth. Some folks say, "Oh, it's better to be good than lucky." It's a random person that should have been my life should have ended a long time ago, and I just happened to my 360-pound Greek buddy's like, "Oh, ride with me." That point when you get in the other car, and then like an hour or so later, horrible incidents happens, terrible car wreck. You go to see your buddy who's still alive. You have a cell phone on you that you shared with your old man. You have to call 911. The hospital is literally 90 seconds away. They save your friend's life. But right somewhere in that madness there, you're like, that A-pillar would have come right across from where I had been sitting in that Camaro, and I would have been decapitated. So, had I gotten back in the other car, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Or at least I claim. Maybe something crazy would have happened. I don't think I was making it out there with my head still intact, but I did because I was in the other vehicle. It's one of those moments. You choose this or that, but we're here right now. So, all right. So the whole thing is I'm here like any good internet wizard to attempt to teach you magic. Okay. What type of magic am I talking about? Well, if you go on the grim side of the things, that's kind of where I was originating from. It was all right, the mimetic magic. So it's like a lot of the times some folks will be on the internet and they'll portray themselves in certain ways. Like you put on sunglasses. It's +5 cool points. Yes. And then kind of spectrumy people like me, it keeps my crazy eyes hidden and everything because I do a lot of weird eye stuff. Uh, but that's not for today because you can portray yourself in whatever manner you want. And there is a particular road where here's what I do: I put on a nice buttoned up shirt, I cut the long hair, I put on a suit jacket, and then I come up here and I start saying, well, within the realm of physics, we've had many greats that have come before us. We stand on the shoulders of giants. And then I start to lay out in very eloquent ways, using a lot of 42-point words to try to pretend how smart I am in there. Now, I'm not saying people do this, but it's kind of things that I did. So I figure I'm like, I'm sure nobody else has done this. And you come out here and you have a very polished suit and you say all your magical words and everything, and people are captivated. They're in awe. Very often they have no idea what you just said. Occasionally, there might be other professionals that are like, I have no idea what you just said. It sounded really good though, and since you're an important person that has clout, we're going to listen to you. I'm not saying how is listen, there's a lot of really smart folks out there. It just for the presentation style, it's like, no, I've gotten stuff from the people that are out there, and then they're using very fancy words, kind of like maybe like a Marie Gaumont, where he's going to pronounce things with the preferred predilections and dialects and everything. And then you got your much more brash New Yorker Dick Feynman styles. We're gonna go, listen, hey, we got some stuff over here. It's doing the electromagnetic thing. What's the electromagnetic thing? It's going out like this. I'm coming in here, going out, going in. And I was more of a Dick Feynman guy. Apparently, the first time I'm listening to one of his lectures, I'm like, this guy a physicist or a stand-up comedian? Because the crowd is laughing and everything, and I don't know. I'm sure maybe those are little attributes of funniness because at that time he was a much more famous person, and so just something that I've noticed was when there are people around that some folks are in awe to some of the things they say. They seem to be extra funny. I don't know. Maybe it's just a way of humans to say that we like another person. Hey, upcycle, yes. Live long and prosper. I use that meme enough for the Happy New Year thing because it's like, all right, what can you say that's the most generic kind of thing that you wish someone a New Year? You go Spock, you go live long and prosper. That's the thing. No matter who it is, it's like you're wishing good things upon a person, and then people can argue from there. That's fine. Uh, but instead of some of the mimetic magic, and I'm not saying that I'm not doing any of that and everything, because like we all, the way that I help to try to, and again, what is a tensor? A tensor is it's a vector with a direction. It's got some magnitude to it. Okay, I'm going to retract that because a vector it's a magnitude with a direction. Okay, so next initially what I said, but that's kind of how I view human dynamics. It's like, all right, you get in the jive, especially if you have other folks on, because it's like, listen, text is cool and everything. I'm not always good at going through there. For me, it's like I grew up around like other human beings and stuff, so you can see. So at least if you have a video when somebody's on there, you can get kind of the vibe from their voice and everything, their facial expressions. Their general body language are just generally how they are. Right? I mean, even if somebody's just like using an avatar and stuff, at least if you can pick up on the audio parts of what they're saying and have a large enough sample, you can kind of get the gist of what they're saying. But then again, everyone has their own story. Okay. Sociological rant aside, let's get back to the magic that we're supposed to be talking about. Okay. So the magic that we're supposed to be talking about is okay. You see all these random symbols and stuff like that, and a lot of it's this shorthand. So like this little fish up here, this is alpha. It's basically the fine structure constant. What is it? It's basically electromagnetic coupling, and the whole point is if we go to Wolfram Alpha, which we're going to do right now, let's this guy, this guy, and all right, so duplicate this tab. Don't worry, we're just using that for the little intro there. Don't mind this. There's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing fantastical is going on. Hey, welcome, Kevin. Uh here's the thing, Kev. As far as consciousness goes, that's all you guys. That's all you guys from the greater theory with James and was it Rob and like some other folks from the theories of nothing community. They're talking about consciousness. Power to you. I'm not looking. That's why, like, even in like the little thing, it's like I use theory of everything in quotations. Why? Because that's the general colloquial thing when you're looking for a unified theory of physics. Okay. What are we trying to do? We're trying to unite the standard model of particle physics using quantum mechanics as we know it with general relativity. What seems to be the problem? Well, quantum mechanics seems to be generally a linear thing, kind of goes up like this, and in gravity, the force seems to go up, yeah, non-linearly. Goes up a lot faster once you get to a certain regime. But it's that. I mean, that is a good way to put it, Jax. The board of rune words. Yes, Yeah, it's some scripture and stuff like that that's in symbols there. We're just kind of writing on the board, but we're meant to communicate different ideas that are we're we're using linguistics to computationally reduce things into more manageable forms. Because, well, at least I think that's one of the things within was it? Yeah, standard physics nowadays. It's like, all right, you're using a Feynman diagram to calculate the integral to infinity, but we can't actually calculate to infinity. So we're trying to calculate it to a particular limit so we can have confidence in what it actually is. And we do Yaz QCD, and we throw compute at stuff. We throw compute at stuff, and now compute is being used for all different types of fantastical things. Uh, which is hopefully one of the reasons why we'll actually have on scale fusion technology, hopefully within about 30-ish years or so. Yes, we've been saying that for the past 60 years and 20, 30 years and 20, 30 years. Now it's like, we really need a lot more power. How can we do this? Well, if we want to make more money, we need more power. So maybe we'll invest in different stuff. I don't know. That just seems to be the way things go. Hey, Poindexter. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, my friend. So I should actually try to get into what we're going to do now. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, long story short, back in what is it? Back in early 2021. All right, the plague is out. It's rampant. It's doing its stuff and things. All right, I'm like, well, I want to get back into some of my roots. Let's go to science. Why? Because I spent time in politics. I was trying to find a way to unite the world together without a common enemy. Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And you would sit down with people with far left, far right, and everything. It's amazing what happens if you actually treat somebody like a human being and like a certain modicum of respect. And there's not a camera in your. I don't know. It's a fantastical idea, but ultimately, it came down to when people were honest, and somebody can give you an honest answer, and you don't have to agree with it. Someone's like, "Oh, I don't like this stuff." Okay, well, what about this? What about this? And it comes down to, "I don't like that." It's an honest answer. I'm not saying it's a good answer, but it's an honest answer, and I've had that come from very folks along the spectrum because I think most folks just want to live a good life and be left alone. I don't know. It seems to be maybe a human constant, but no community has monopoly on a holes. Uh, when you look at it that way, it's like, how do we solve this? There's a lot of people getting offended. Some folks are just joking. Some people are really offended. How can we create a more honorable society? Legalize dueling is the obvious option. People need satisfaction. Let them demand satisfaction. And I went around and I started promoting it. And I got a bunch of like conservatives are just going to be on it, and libertarians because they're like rootin' tootin' Second Amendment. Heck yeah, okay. Uh, I went to a lot of lefty friends and stuff, and the overwhelming support it got to like F the a-holes. I'm like, oh. And then I then came to a junction, kind of like it's like, all right. If I got in the Camaro, I probably would have been beheaded back 15 years ago because the way things played out. I got into the Porsche. I lived with basically no like real injury or anything like that. Um, Came to the point where trying to meme dueling into existence, I was afraid would actually work. And at that point, I'm like, let's play this out. Let's say this happens. Let's say we legalize dueling. Yay, look at what I did. I helped legalize consensual murder among adults. Um, Reflecting upon that's like, are there any better options? Let me get into science. I love science. That's my safe space. And I came across on was it April 6th, 2021. Going out for a jog, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, let me open up the old dumpster fire. That's Twitter. Go through. Hey, so there's this physicist that Nolan had tagged, and while he was trolling me while I was trolling Professor Wolfram and Keating. I'm like, let me click on that. They're talking about platonic solids and stuff, and I'm just listening, and I'm going out for a jog, and I'm like, huh. Now now I'm not a professionally trained physicist. I'm hearing a lot of bold claims, and I'm like, well, if half the stuff this dude is claiming is true, this is revolutionary. I'm like, all right, but I take it with a grain of salt because I'm like, just a dude on the internet. dude on the internet. So I take it with a grain of salt. All right. No less than 24 hours later, go to work next day, and all of a sudden, people talking, Muon G2, Muon G2. The standard model is in Paris. People are like, what? What's going on? So I'm listening to the Fermilab conference and everything. I'm hearing folks going off. It's like, this is our Mars rover moment here. I'm like, oh, I guess this is a big deal. It's like thousands of people years worth of dedication and stuff like that. Okay, I believe you. This is a big deal. Okay. They open the envelopes and everything, and they say some words, and then they're confirming the Brookhaven measurement, even though they're using the same ring from Brookhaven, but it's in Fermilab. So, I mean, hopefully, listen, we're trusting that the science is fantastic. The science seems to be fantastic. Okay, but we also need other experiments we would like to confirm. I think Japan's been working on some for a couple of years. Hopefully, those results should come out soon. Hey, Quantum Age, good to see you, my friend. Yes, X is in the house. But yes, happy New Year, Rick. Don't go back to any of the Wolfram Alpha things I was looking at earlier. It's son of a gun. Hey, Gabrielle, good to see you, my friend. Happy New Year, folks. Yes. So the long story short is they're talking about this Muon G2 thing, and I'm like, all right. It's they say some random number. So I'm like, literally just because it was within 24 hours and in my consciousness, I'm like, wait a second. I saw somebody that said he had a bunch of predictions and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, was this dude? Let me tweet at him. I'm like, so at Thad Roberts. I'm like, does this help your? I don't know if you covered this, but does this help your model? Question mark. A response. Yes. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. So then come back from work that day and I attempt to do journalism. What do I do? Well, the dude said it helped. So let me go into Fermilab's website, look at the number. I had no idea what the number is, to be fair. I'm like, do I really still know what a muon G2 is? Oh, okay, wobbly muon, something magnetic moments. It's going to line up. Once we have enough events and everything, we should be able to predict it to a high level of precision, like 12 or 13 digits. Okay. So I go home, look at the numbers on the Fermilab website, not knowing what they were. Uh, I go back to the video that premiered the day before on Thad's channel. Look at his Muon G2 results. Compare the numbers. Look at the error bars. I'm like, it's in the error bars. Dude, man predicted the Muon the Muon G2 results. What's happening here? WTF, mate? All right. So I look at that, so I'm like, all right, let me look into this more. So I talked to that a couple of times. He invites me out. We go to the monastery. We visit. We do some science stuff and things, and then eventually, long story short, somehow now I guess apparently I'm a physics monk or something. Yes, I am on leave right now. We are back on the East Coast because I need to spend some time with family and stuff like that. As you want to have some balance in life. Um, Okay. But the thing is, when I started following a lot of this stuff, and before I became a physics monk, so to speak, um, I started to try to replicate some of these things. And I'll go to Wolfram Alpha, and I would type things. I could get the time thing to work. I couldn't do the other thing. Just because if you make a small mistake, it's like you might not even know you made a mistake. You just have one little thing wrong. Maybe there's a period there. Maybe there's a comma. Maybe you just add a wrong number. And it was extraordinarily frustrating, especially if you don't have a heavy technical background either within physics, within programming, uh, within even just using a computer. Because a lot of times I use computers for gaming, playing Ark Survival Evolved and stuff. So since we're almost at about halfway today's broadcast, um, we should actually get to a point. No. Uh, but when you can use rune words, I like that. I like that. And I really want to do like a comic at some point where it's like, all right, you have some random calculations. Let's project it in 3D, Tony Stark Jarvis style, have them highlight, and we're getting there. The video creation software is getting fantastic. And we can combine like Manum, a thing for like mathematics, with that. Thad's been working on his Manum skills. So, oh, It's the good director Arthur. Yes, my celery stalk based arch nemesis. I love you too, Ark. But well, see, that's the thing. It's like, all right. So what happens if you saw something like C squared or something like that? It's like, all right. What if you were to take, if you had perfect conversion, if you were able to do magic, what happens if you, let's say, burned 1 gram of energy? Now, 1 gram is usually, yeah, they usually say it's like a paperclip or something like that. All right. And we're burning it. We're doing these things. We're lifting. Maybe you run so far. Maybe you, I don't know, you go up some stairs or something like that. But all right, let's do this. 1 gram, because that's a thing. And we multiply it by c squared. How much energy do we get from one paperclip with perfect energy conversion? All right. So we get about 9 times 10 to the 13 newton meters. What is that? All right. So it's like 10 to the 13 joules. Okay. Oh, what's this? Within one paperclip worth of mass, if we were to convert it all to energy, 1.4 times the energy yield of the little boy nuclear bomb. I I believe that's what destroyed Hiroshima in World War II. Yeah. So with one paper, okay, so I'm not. See, that's the way I think you could justify a lot of superhero things. Is you keep things within the realm of like, hey, we're following some science. Maybe it's some sufficiently advanced science, and we're doing a crazy type of thing, but maybe it actually still works. It's yeah, Sark is commenting, celery. You dare invoke? Never mind. I will forgive this. We are ostensibly united against magic. Oh, Ark, maybe this isn't the place for you right now, my friend, because yes, I'm talking about computation and stuff like that, but it's like, I'm saying that the metaphor of magic, if Arthur C. Clarke is going to say any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, I'm I'm just thinking, I don't know, you bring Newton, George Washington, anybody from the generalized past that you could kind of communicate with, all of a sudden, like, you want to see someone cool? You whip out like a smartphone, be like, do you love delicious chicken? You order from a delicious wings place, you get Postmates, or it's there, and like within half an hour, you have hot, tasty chicken. I'm just saying that's magic to me. That's just magic to me, but maybe that's the relative thing. This is a megawatt hour. I shouldn't do magic. Okay. Oh well, Grim has said it, so we well that's the thing, Ark. It's like if we don't understand it yet, it's like okay. Within science, let's I don't need this right now. Let me just I get some water. Okay. So at times within science, at least historically, the old folks all come along. I think it was Maxwell and stuff like that who was very inspired by Faraday. Faraday's doing all this crazy stuff, showing all this stuff. It's like he at the Royal Institution. He's putting this magnet, and you're seeing like these lines of force, magnetic lines of force. Fantastic. And then you have Faraday apparently really wasn't a mathematician. He's just like, look, cool stuff. But he was very inspiring. So then Maxwell comes along. He's like, it's like a mathematical genius. So he's like, all right, let me do some equations. And he created like these 13 magical equations, like the 13 lost ghosts of Scooby Doo. And apparently you can boil them down. I think it's like four. So it's basically the change in the electric field leads to change in the magnetic field. It's like change in this, change in that. It's like love and the marriage, or charge and the flux, charge and the flux go together. I forget what I had ChatGPT write something for it. It was kind of good. Okay, it wasn't terrible. I had to modify, but okay. So the whole point is that he wrote down these things, and he's saying it was lines of force, and people like, oh, particles, oh, silly. silly math person. And they kind of wrote him off, and then it takes a while, and eventually it's like, oh my God, this might be the most brilliant thing within like physics within like, I don't know, hundreds of years, thousands of years, maybe, depends on your spread there. Uh, but the thing is, oh, even I think Boltzmann and stuff like that, talking about Boltzmann apparently was a very large atomist or something like, yes, these elements are probably made of smaller things. A lot of people like laughed at him. I think, dude, man, ended up taking his own life because he was feeling so down, like wasn't accepted and stuff. Um, I'm just saying that some of the brightest folks that we will speak words about today, like, oh yeah, they were an OG, they knew everything that was going on. Of course, people recognize their genius. I think more people than would like to admit literally died penniless and alone. Sometimes it takes a while for different things to catch on. I mean, heck, would relativity and Einstein really be a household name if it wasn't for Arthur Eddington going around saying, yes, this is the future, and being a fantastical type show person as well as a smart dude. Uh, the XYZ. Yes. Oh, it's. I see what you did there. Maybe. Uh, well, Ark. I think in order to know that, I think by definition, the answer is God. I ain't God. I ain't no God nor prophet. I'm a dude on the internet. Uh, did whatever did everything that was. Yeah, I think that leads into. Yeah, we don't need to get into any religiosity or stuff like that. I just know, what was it? Professor Peterson said something at one point. Oh, what is God? God is all powerful, all knowing, omnipresent. So it's like, is it omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent? Something like that. I'm like, well, that kind of sounds like universe. So you say potato, I say potato. Hey, whether you go Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, hey, I usually just end with you go your way, I go Yahweh. It's simple like that. Uh that's well, yeah, I think when one labels himself a moral authority, perhaps we should be wary. Okay. Okay. So I like to explain the magic and stuff. So the long story short is I started playing around with Wolfram Alpha. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Okay. So let's try to figure out what the heck we're doing. Okay. So we'll do this. Let's share with the class here. All right. So this was a little magic. Well, let's say you're a comic book writer or something like that. You're trying to write or maybe a sci-fi novel or something like that. Maybe you're trying to incorporate some magic in a way that makes sense. All right. Let's say a character exerts themselves. They're able to convert a precisely 1 gram worth of energy by, the only way where you know how to do it is that you have like a positron, an electron, basically you need a particle and its antiparticle needs to come together in a very particular way, and then you have perfect 100%. That's how you do this. Because right now I think, what is this, like fission is like, what is it, like 1%, fusion is maybe like 5% efficient or something like that. Like, this is magnitudes. Like, if like taking like 10 kilos of like plutonium and something, this is the most efficient stuff that you can really do, at least that we know of. Okay, so you got that. All right, so let's see. Well, what is C? What is C? We talk about all this. So let's say you want to inquire. Let's say you're trying to do some sciencey things. It's like you got a question. A lot of times you can just do a little Google search. You can go to Wikipedia and you can find stuff on the topic. But let's say you have a more particular question. Now you can also use LLMs, and some of them do have one of the Chat GPTs, one of the at least pay for versions. You can get a Wolfram plugin. I think it needs to be updated. I haven't used it in a little bit, but I feel like some of the new LLMs are quite good. Well, Rick is an amoral authority. See what you did there. Sure. Uh, so breaking the fourth wall. Well, is there a wall? Is it a matter of our predilections, conceptions? I don't know. All right. Well, let's say you want to ask Wilson a question. What the heck is the speed of light? Because this is a computational knowledge engine, and since it knows me, it knows I'm looking for the speed of light. Okay. So it gives you its input interpretation. So very often, since the Wolfram language is set up like a natural style language, it's not Google, it's not an LLM. But if you ask it a question like, what is it? Speed of light divided by speed of an electron. Let's see if we can do that. All right. So see the way it's categorizing it, it has C. So normally earlier I just put C. Normally that's probably going to come up like as a variable, like an X or a Y term, unless you have it within the context of other physical style things. It's not perfect. But right now it's interpreting the speed of light as C, the speed of light, and I have speed of an electron. So it has an electron. See, it's got this little negative charge symbol there. And now it's doing its speed. And of course, there's no data available. I built it up so much. I built it up so much. Was it? How about atomic unit speed? Atomic unit of speed. I think that's technically the electron. Because sometimes you need to ask a question, and this is why it can be frustrating. Okay, let me do this. Atomic unit of speed. Lucky. Oh, that seems to be the fine structure constant times the speed of light. Oh, they still have the old listing with the 7 and not the 6 there. That's interesting. Uh, so it's okay. Atomic unit speed. I want to do this. Oh, hold on. Maybe I need to put brackets there. See, this is one of the reasons I put the protective brackets. I say it's better to have and not need it than need and not have it. Oh, look. Now it works. All right. So when codified in the correct fashion, so all we did was protective brackets. This is why I emphasize the brackets. And also, if you move it around, it doesn't automatically, because if you have like 4 and like one of the Schwarzschild solutions of a black hole, it's like 4 Newtonian gravitational constant, but it's 4G. And if you have them right next to each other, it's going to bring up what is like cellular network frequency and stuff. And that's probably not what you're looking for. All right. So we get the C, the speed of light, and our atomic unit of speed, aka the speed of the electron in I think it's hydrogen there, because I think that's its state where okay. The speed of light is approximately 137.35999. And then we can argue about the last digit there in like the 10th spot. Is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, the 10th spot. Uh okay, so for those that I may or may not have been following, it should be okay. I just completely broke that. That's basically the inverse of the fine structure constant, because this is essentially the fine structure constant here. Okay, and that's why it's apparently a mystery within science. I'm still say it's a mystery. I think Thad's conjecture probably has a lot of heft to it. It's got at least a poster with 288 testable data points, and some of them have already seemed to have. Listen, before I went to the monastery, it's like how can I justify this? How can I do this? Part of it was well, before I went, they had another muon G2 thing, which lined up with the second edition of Thad's book prediction. Okay, so he had another check. It doesn't hurt if you have a couple more confirmed predictions at the time than string theory. Just a personal opinion. And again, I'm very biased. Listen. One of my friends that got me into WoW is a druid. I'm not sure I can ever forgive him or thank him enough. One of those type of things. Okay, so let's go to something else. How about we hear about stuff? Okay, physics. How about dimensions? Why? Because we can. Sometimes they'll give you a little thing. Now, as you can see here, it's saying dimensions. It's a word. Why? Thank you, Wolfram Alpha. Okay, and you can use it in these different contexts here. Okay. So referring to a computation, a general topic, referring to a course app instead. So gives you a lot of standard dictionary stuff here. Dimensions, an English word. Definition of dimension. Now, the magnitude of something in a particular direction, especially length, width, or height. Okay, construct whereby it can be distinguished. One of the three Cartesian coordinates that determines a position in space. So basically, we got like our x, our y, our z plane there. So basically, if we're in like a cube. We're in a cube. We could position or on a sphere. Dimension, magnitude, extent, shape. Okay, here's the thing. Very often, at least I got really confused before by the first and the third definition. Because number one, you're like, all right, well, dimension, oh, we live in like three dimensions there. It's like, all right, I got a particle. Yes, it's the particle that is a bottle. Yes. It's kind of a cylinder. It's got some curvature and stuff here. Seems to be able to go around in three dimensions. If I crushed it really flat, it's gonna kind of appear like two dimensions. Okay. We can grok that. Why? Because we tend to have bodies and stuff, so we can have some experiences and stuff. However, stuff seems to happen, so there seems to be a notion of time. Perhaps frequency is a better conceptualization, but then again, it maybe it's the okay. Here's the thing, Jax. All I know, you want to talk about theory crafting and creative use of game mechanics. Isn't there that crossbow of power can get, and then they can deal fire damage? And since they have all these feats and stuff, you just start AoEing the paladin with a crossbow because of all your holy fire procs and stuff like that. That's what we call creative use of game mechanics. So you're just looking at the things that allows you to do, the extent in which you can do it, and then you just maximize your result with a particular build. For me, I usually on Diablo 2, I was Necromancer, and I just basically used summon the Blood Golem, and then used Iron Maiden and Thorns. So what happened is, as long as the Blood Golem didn't get one shot, it would reflect like 150 plus percent damage to the target, and then it would heal for like 100% of that damage. So as long as the thing didn't get one shot, as long as people just kept on fighting it, I could just step back and just like let everything kill themselves. Um, that was a particular technique. Okay. But I mean, that's just part of a game. Okay. But the thing that gets me is, all right, we usually confuse when we say dimensions. A lot of times we hear three plus one. All right. So it's three dimensions of space, one dimension of time. Okay. But the dimensions over here, the magnitude of something in a particular direction, especially length, width, or height. Okay. So how about a dimension? Well, let's do, how about length? It said length. What is length? A linear extent, a continuance of things. Okay. Let's go more specific. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can learn. How about this? What's the SI unit of length? The meter. Okay. Some folks enjoy centimeters, and there might be good reasons to use that, but for at least today, we're just going to talk about the meter. Why? Because it's a unit, it's a physical quality of length, and many things. An SI base unit. Okay. So we've got that. How about this? How about time? Well, we do time with seconds. All right. How about the second? Because it's a useful thing. Because remember, it's something, not strictly just trolling. Say stuff and things. Feel like it might actually be accurate. Okay. An SI based unit. Okay, we talked about length and time. What happens when we do 1 meter over 1 second? We're going to get a meter per second. Oh my God. Imagine that. All right. Why? It's a speed. We're taking these base units and we're combining them in different ways. The beautiful thing is, like, even like a dude like me can start to understand this because what are we doing? Well, we're just taking this stuff, we're dividing it by this thing. Cool. And we get speed. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because one of the interesting things that you learn, and again, Thad was the first one that brought this to my attention. And I don't think I hear a lot of folks say this. From all the different constants of nature, you can boil them down to 5 dimensions of measure. And those are time, space, charge, mass, and temperature. From those dimensions, you can get pretty much everything else. It's like, what is C? C? Oh, it's saying a character. We want the unit. All right. So C, we're back to our speed of light. We got our about 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second. Okay, that's redonkulously fast. What's this? Length. And since it has this -1 here, this means that this would go in the denominator. So when you do length divide by time, so 1 unit of length divided by 1 unit of time is the speed of light, or maximum rate of stuff as we know it happening. Cool. So, but that was length divided by time. Are there base units that we could use to help get a better idea of what might be going on? Conveniently, we have the Planck units. So we just do Planck length divided by the Planck time. You don't need to use capital letters, but it's respectful, and I don't know. I just pretty and okay. Oh look, hey, we get about 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second, aka 1 speed of light. Cool. And now we have our length divided by time. As we can see, we just have Planck length divided by the Planck time. Cool. Bells are like music. I'm not going to disagree with that, Jax. I'm not going to disagree at all. Uh, what is this? Uh, I'm very alien. Hold on, let me see what Arc is saying. I'm very alien to you. Oh, thanks, Arc. This is too much room for missing, but you've passed the test of time, and I regret my negative assumptions. I didn't know there were that many negative assumptions. Okay, that's cool. Don't worry, there's lots of reasons to have negative assumptions. Any into the Omega Shaman, the latter is unfairly limited as a. I have no idea. I saw the dude up there. Apparently, he didn't comply with an officer or something like that. I think his sentence was commuted. It seemed like a long time, but then again, there's the F around to find. I got out of that. I don't really know. Listen, whatever spiritual path somebody particularly uses, as long as you're not harming other people, I don't really care what you do. That's that's ultimately it's okay. It's okay. Ark, you're too nice. You're too See, that was your downfall. If you were a very shrewd, total a-hole, like I knew you had, if you embraced your full capacity, you could have done fantastical things just at the price of your soul. That's all. But I digress. That's my opinion there. Okay. But mm, all right. All right. So we're showing the stuff. Okay, so we got the speed, the seed of light there. Now, some of you may have heard of Planck's constant. What the heck is that? Well, imagine my shock where if you want to find out what that is, you just type Planck constant. Okay. Now, so letting you know it's considering the unit. I think if you use the character, it should give you this character. So the thingy that we use is H. I know it's a little slanted H. That's Planck's constant. What is it? 6.6 times 10 to the minus 34 joule second. Okay, some ridiculously small number in units that are incomprehensible. It's energy, energy time. Okay, so let's give you these things. All right, so it's 2 pi times reduced Planck's constant. Okay, so very action. It's an action. What is it? It's a mass times length squared, so that's an area. So it's mass, area, and then time's got that -1 there. So it's in the denominator. So it's mass area divided by time, or for every unit of time, you could say that's a rate. I think of it as mass area rate. Okay, so if you have like piece piece of paperish stuff here, yes, my little thing on the board, you got a piece of paper. You would take an area of this. You would have some mass because it's got some mass to it. It's got an area, and then it's doing a particular thing at a rate. Okay, that's how I conceptualize it. The long story short is if you take the Planck constant, very often you'll hear folks talk about the reduced Planck constant. What is that? So it's basically that divided by, and this is why I use brackets, 2 pi. So you get a slightly different answer if you just do 2 without the brackets. Okay. So you get that many Planck constants. So what is it? About 1.055 times 10 to the minus 34 joule seconds. So energy time or action. That's the reduced Planck's constant, aka we call it, just do this. We can use its rune name. Its rune name, my friends, H bar. Yes, I used a Higgs walks into an H bar joke. Yada, yada, yada before. Okay. So what is it? It's that little H with a line on it. So it's got a bar going through the top of the H. Definition. All right. So Planck's constant divided by 2 pi. That's known as the elementary unit of action. Okay. And it's got this number here. And then again, I've conjectured that, well, the relationship of the. Here, let's do this. I conjectured that if we take the Higgs mass or the Higgs boson, some folks like Professor Michio like to refer to it as the God particle. It's just what you need to complete the standard model. And my Peter Higgs be at peace. It also seemed to keep his job because apparently they're considering firing him before he get nominated for the Nobel Prize. That's a different rant for another time. So we take the Higgs mass, we divide it by the Planck mass, and we square it because that's what we do. And I get this number here. What the heck is this? 1.05 times 10 to the minus 34. Right. Wait a second. 0.05 times 10 to the minus 34. I get it's only 3 digits. It's only 3 digits. Well, if you use the more recent CMS, maybe it's like 4.5 or so. But again, realistically, if we would actually like to throw it out, and maybe this next year they'll come off and be like, "Oh, we were totally off, and everything is totally wrong." If you actually wanted to confirm or validate this, you're going to need at least 7 digits of like high precision. Probably going to need a muon collider or something like that. And apparently, the technology is getting there. We're able to get a whole bunch of muons to actually go in a line at about 8% of the speed of light, which is not too shabby. It's not like 99.99999, however many nines we need in order to get them to be collide and then create the infrastructure to model them and everything. We still got a ways to go, but I think it's plausible. But see, here's the thing, Ark. I felt the same way. I stopped understanding math halfway through the 6th grade. At one point, my teacher's like, "So, here's what we're gonna do. You don't need to know this stuff now. It'll be useful later." So I just spent the day doodling in my notebook. So that day, our teacher taught us how to cross multiply fractions. Okay. When I got to the 7th grade, it's like, since you know how to cross multiply fractions, here are some letters. And going through like algebra, pre-algebra, and stuff. It's like, oh my god! I swear the system just moved me along. So my teachers probably thought I was a nice dude or something like that. I did not understand math until I got to like an upper level, like junior year, like finance class. Uh, and then occasionally for like nuclear physics in high school or something, or nuclear chemistry. Apparently, I did one of those tests. I should have gotten probably a C in the class, but I got an A. I don't know. Again, maybe my teacher felt bad for me, but it was also when they were showing us, it's like, here's a match. It was like 500 degrees. Here's a strip of magnesium. You light it. This is burning at like 1,200 degrees. And then you stick that thing of magnesium into some thermite that's burning at like 3,200 degrees and stuff. And it burns so much that it like popped out of like the container and started to like melt through like the VCT floor. Luckily, it was concrete. We were on the first floor. Uh, but I just remember, I'm like, whoa, that was really cool. And in an uplink with our local college and stuff like that, I conjectured. I'm like, oh, we got fission, we got fusion. What if we were to do this? Blah blah blah. And then the person who later was my radiation and life teacher in college took a moment, took a breath, and said, "Well, in that case, theoretically, you would have a neutron bomb, something with a lower explosive yield, but will annihilate all life in the area." It was at that moment I said, I should never go into physics. Funny how life works out for you. But long story short, I needed to be entertaining. If it was like doing like a finance thing to do calculations, be like, all right, should we invest in this project? Does this make sense? We're comparing it to our rate of return. A lot of it, it's just a puzzle. If it doesn't interest you, why would you retain it all? Why would you put yourself through such torture? My thing is, it needs to be interesting. It doesn't hurt having somebody like hold your hand through it, but the big thing that we're trying to get at right here is um, it's a lot easier and accessible now. Why? Because it's like, all right, let's say, all right, we have a kaiju. Let's say Godzilla is 100,000 tons. Is that enough? Yeah, 100,000 tons. How do I spell tons? Is that it? What's the American way? Oh, metric. I can just do ton. All right. So 100,000. Oh, short tons. No, we want metric tons. That's the difference. All right. 100,000 metric tons. All right. Oh, look, 10 to the 8 kilograms. That's a useful number. All right. Let's say you got Godzilla, and Godzilla gets thrown by Shimo or something like that, and he gets thrown. I don't know. Let's say not a full kilometer, but 500 meters. All right. Don't even know what I'm doing. Times 500 meters, kilogram meters. All right. How much? Oh, I'm not even sure what I'm trying to do. Uh, oh God. I haven't ever done it in this one. See, this is where you run into, you get so used to asking. Okay. You get 100,000 tons. Let's, oh, wait, no, it should actually give me the answer. Metric tons, thousand metric mass distance. Okay, convert metric, blah blah blah. Oh, how much force? There we go. How much force to move 100 tons, 500 meters? There we go. That's what we do this for. Is it going to understand my question? I am a student of mad scientist. I can confirm that. Zax, good to see you, my friend. We're just talking about stuff doing things. I am totally failing at this. No, I don't care. But oh, wait a second. I'm a dummy. I actually know this. F equals ma. Force equals mass times acceleration. Okay. So what we should do, we should be taking mass times acceleration. So we're gonna do 500 1 over let's do 20 seconds squared. Let's do that. All right. Joules per square. Of course it's going to be a spring constant because it comes down to everything. Okay. So he moved Godzilla, I think it was 1 over 100,000 tons divided by the acceleration. So we got thrown back about, or 5 seconds. All right. Second square. Oh, okay. So he needed to do 20,000 newtons per meter. All right, that's a spring constant. And that's then energy should be divided by time. Yes. Hey, coolest dude. There we go. There we go. Oh, wow. See, look. Yes, I'm so dumb. I don't even know this. All right. These are the basic things you teach to like a first year student. That that I see the problems with occasion. I'm like, oh, okay, I got that. I just plug in with spring things, so it usually equates out to one. All right, so mass. All right, so velocity. That's where we go. All right, so he was going about, we'll say 100 meters per second. All right. It's velocity squared. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, force. Yeah, force times distance is energy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it takes a lot of joules to move 100 metric ton Godzilla. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So it's about 1/20th the energy from when that ginormous building that was full of fertilizer in Beirut that they also stored the fireworks with went boom. Yeah. So it's 6 times total energy fission released from 1 gram of uranium 235. See? All right. Well, that was very. Oh, see, that was stressful because before I hadn't done this a bunch. And as soon as you do something new, like if you haven't done that before, it's like, wait a second, what's the general concept? What am I even doing there? No, it can be hard. See, the coolest dude has got. I like the glasses. I support that. I used to have a pair. They're broke. Uh Yeah, here's the thing. I liked actually the Godzilla X Con movie a little bit more as a movie. I actually just got done watching it with my mom. She hadn't seen it before, and my brother hadn't seen the ending. Um, I like how they had it set up. It actually moved at a decent. That the big criticism for that is, oh, where was the Godzilla? It's like that movie was a story of Kong. That's basically my take of it. Uh, but yeah, the whole point. Oh, we've been going for over an hour. Okay. But the whole point of this is there's tools out there. You have tools, and especially if maybe you don't have to. I'll still go to an LLM and ask, how do I ask this in the Wolfram language, or how would I code this in Python or something? You have the ability to ask a good question, and you know what? If you get an error, just copy paste and be like, "Here's I got an error. Here's the error. Here's my code. Please help." If you do that enough times, it seems to actually work pretty well in that we've actually been able to animate things with like little to no like programming knowledge and everything. Uh, Coleman's comment. I love how it compares the fuel energy of an airplane or nuclear fission. Yeah, Wolfram Alpha gives you a lot of crazy stuff on it, but it's one of the ways. It's a lot of times because one, it lets me go through, be like, what is this? What is this? What if I raise this power? Because a lot of times I'll have a question, and if I don't have the full broad basis of like a first year physics student. It's like, yeah, I literally only have it within this conception. It helps me explore, show me different relations. And then, well, I mean, look at here. It's okay. Well, here's a thing on like Wikipedia. I'm like, okay, where are the original sources? Let me actually read this. And it's like, okay, a lot of these things have been done well. Maybe we should read more original source work and some of the other derivations. And somebody brought up something the other day where it's like most of physics, as I believe we've derived it, is the F equals ma. It's force equals mass times acceleration. Okay, that's technically the second derivative of speed. It's like, okay, well, what if we do the third derivative? Well, then we'd be jerks. Or how would you a jerk? Or we'd be deriving it from jerk. And then I don't know, Professor Keating had posted something like that about Joe Rogan and saying all these things. I'm like, don't tell him about the elves. Snap, crackle, and pop. Because that's the fourth, fifth, and sixth derivative of speed. So now you know. And knowing it's half the battle. But So that's about all we got right now. But hey, thank you all for joining. Hopefully, live long and prosper. Here's the 2025. Heck of a time to be alive, I claim.